Well, he represents Big Sky Country. He is a 3-time and defending Montana State champion, as well as the 2022 Shaw Race Cars Western Region champion. Ty Clemens out of Belgrade, Montana is next on the Beyond the Flags podcast. He talks about his start in racing, as well as the gorgeous and scenic neighborhood that he lives in Montana, and some of the cool things that you can do if you're ever in the area, as well as a big $5,000 payday at Gallatin Speedway in his native Belgrade during the Montana Madness. That's coming up next. But before we get to the interview, make sure wherever you're listening or watching from, you hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Well, on the Beyond the Flags podcast, Ty Clemens from Belgrade, Montana. Ty, we've met each other, I think it was like 2020 Electric City Speedway for their triple header during Labor Day weekend. But since then, we've been reunited at some places, specifically the Survive the 55 at CAG Speedway. It's always great to have a chance to catch up and talk with you, and also to watch you get some racing action in.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you calling.
Well, I going back to 2020, I remember it specifically. Steve Arpin, driving, the Loneboro Motorsports car, was taking care of business. I think he won the first two nights. And then night number 3, just this magisterial pass out of nowhere. Like, it was one of those deals where Ty Clemens is going to win this race. Like, it was on the back straightaway of the white flag lap, and like, you weren't, I can't remember now I'm talking out of my mouth a little bit here, but you closed the gap and then you zoom right past them on that final lap. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite races of all time, for sure. That's one that sticks in your memory. I remember just having a long fought battle with him throughout the race, and he's such an experienced driver and just good behind the wheel of anything he gets in. And he was running all over the place, and I was kind of committing to the middle where it was cleaned off, and that was a heck of a race. I accidentally got in the back of him going down the back stretch coming to white, and I thought that was going to cause issue, and he saved it right away, and then on the very last lap I was able to get around him on the top, and I don't know, it was really cool. I didn't think it was going to happen the whole time, and coming off before, it looked like I was going to be able to clear him, and that was a pretty exciting moment for sure.
Man, Electric City Speedway this year, 2024, it lives up to the name. It's been rather electric. You're the only guy that's won twice when you got the job done at the, what would have been Independence Day weekend or Independence Day week, a couple of midweek shows they had, and you've won twice. Everybody else has won once. I mean, there's been a plethora of different winners.
Yeah, not only there, but across the state of Montana too. It's just been a crazy competitive season. Electric City Speedway is awesome, and there's really good competition up there, along with tons of available racing lines and a really smooth, well-prepped track. And its ability to produce different winners every week is something that's crazy too. It's not very often you hear about a place that goes whatever we've gone now, 10 races with 9 winners. It's a pretty cool deal.
Oh yeah, and just to see, the amount of talent that comes out there, I think it's unfortunately it gets overlooked a little bit, but Jordan Tossi, he's been incredibly fast. Jeremy Meyerhofer,
absolutely.
He is always tough. And then obviously you got the likes of Joey Price and many other drivers that they just it's just been enjoyable to watch on IMCA TV every week when it's on.
Yeah, I think that's one of the raciest places around. We've been fortunate enough to be able to travel here the last few years and go to lots of different tracks. And, I'm lucky to have one of the best ones that I've ever been to, only 3 hours away. And those guys are just good up there. Like you said, the competition level is really high. There's a lot of guys on a weekly basis that can win, and then guys that kind of come out of the woodwork too. We raced against Cody Blicks last time we were up there, and he was faster than all heck in that Jordan Tossi car. And, it's just really fun racing against all those guys.
Yeah, well, and Cody Blicks, that race, that was exciting, and I thought it was going to be, your third one, but holy smokes, he got up on the wheel and he held you off.
Yeah, we got a little rain that day, and it made the track pretty heavy, but that's no excuse on my end. He ran a really, really good race, ran right down the middle. I could kind of get up next to him, but I couldn't get off the corner like he could. And yeah, he just outran us. No other way to put it. He did a good job.
So you got 4 wins overall this year. 2 of them obviously at Great Falls, but a big one on June 29th at a track that's not 3 hours away from you. It's in your hometown, Gallatin Speedway, the Montana Madness, $5,000 to win show. I mean, that's an incredible feat. You also had a win there on June 14th. So those are the 2 places you've won out this season. But that win, $5,000, that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's huge. We did a lot of extra prep, I feel, in the shop, getting ready for that week. Just made sure everything was perfect. And, I tried to prepare mentally a little more than I normally do. It's just another race at my home track, but at the same time, the competition was a lot better, a lot bigger paycheck. So we did everything we could to win it, and we're fortunate enough to end up out front. And it was just an awesome race. Again, another really, really well prepped, smooth racetrack with multiple lanes. It did latch up at the end a little bit with some rubber, but I was fortunate enough to be in front when that happened, and we kind of went into tire saving mode. And biggest win of my life for sure. Really, really fun race, and $5,000 is, it's very helpful, especially in a budget program like I have.
For sure. 42 cars showed up. They only took 24 on the final night for 55 laps. That's a long ways around Gallatin, but beating out, let's see, Braxton Yeager was second. He's one of the top cats this year in the Shaw Race Cars Western region, and then we talked about him, Jeremy Meyerhofer, who does a lot of double duty driving, and he's got a lot of decorations to his credit. But you were able to best the both of them.
Yeah, like I said, it was awesome. Braxton has been super fast everywhere we go. He's always very, very difficult to beat. And then Jeremy Meyerhofer was good too. I think he came through a B. He came from really deep in the field to run up towards the front. And Tossie would have been really tough too, but he had a tire issue. And like I said, sometimes there's a little bit of luck in that deal. And I think we had luck, and we also had a little bit of speed, and it all worked out. And I don't know, I'm just real happy about it still.
Yeah, Montana, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Utah, the states of origin for the top 5. And Jeremy Meyerhofer going to plus 15. That's pretty good. That's And going back to traveling a little bit, you got to get out a little bit of Big Sky Country in the wintertime and the spring as well. Central Arizona Raceway for the 3-day show that they had down there, and then Desert Thunder Raceway in Price, Utah. I know that you've went down to Price a couple times in the last few seasons.
Yeah, we've been there, I don't know, probably 6-7 times. When they run a 2-day show, it's nice to go down there. You can get a little more bang for your buck as far as traveling goes. And I enjoy the price, and I like that track in Central Arizona as well. It's just, the budget kind of puts the constraint on how much you can do that, but we try to do it as much as possible. Yeah.
I went to CAG Grand for the first time last November, and my goodness, that thing is, I think it's 3/8, but boy, don't go off the top. I mean, they throw a yellow if you go off the top because you kind of just disappear.
Yeah, it's fast. We run like a 504 gear there and hit the chip. So I don't know what that works out to miles per hour wise, but you're flying. That track's cool. Really nice shape to it. Got progressive banking, and again allows for more driving lines, which is always awesome. But if you fall off there, you kind of just go off into the abyss, and it's hard to get back to the track.
And then for Price, that's not too bad of a journey for you guys, because you just go, straight down I-15 till about, Salt Lake City-ish, and then you just...
Yeah, it's like an hour out of Salt Lake. It ends up being like 8.5 hours for us.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, like I said, like I've told you before, the states are big over here, so 8.5 hours is what we would call like a medium trip.
Sure. Yeah, well, because I think first time I was at Belgrade was in 2011, and there was a sprint car driver from West Jordan, SLC area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so far away. And then somebody was like, well, no, it's if you take it, it's a straight shot pretty much to here. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's still a drive, but it's not like 12 hours or something like it would be.
And it's mostly interstate, so you just I don't know, hunker down and get there, I guess.
Yeah, hammer down. Well, speaking of your racing career, obviously I first met you in 2020, but your racing career predates that. How did you get exposed to racing for the first time?
There's always been a track here in my hometown in Belgrade, and I ended up just watching races there when I was real little, one way or another. And then my family was never into racing. I didn't have a dad or an uncle, grandpa, anything like that did any racing, so I kind of had to get into it on my own. We had a neighbor down the road, Dave Fowler, who raced late models, and I would ride my bike down there and bug him as much as I could, and that kind of set the hook. And then when I was in high school, I scraped up enough money and bought a street stock and started that way.
Nice. And what year was that about that you got your driving career kicked off?
I raced a couple races in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And then full season in 2006.
Now what's unique about Belgrade, for listeners that don't know, is Gallatin Speedway. That's been there for a while now, but there's a track that predates that, and it was Hub of the Valley. And that closed down due to, it was, and you know the story better than I, but it was an expansion of I-90, right? I-90 just cuts straight through Montana, and they basically had to shut the track down.
Yeah, as the town got bigger, we needed more off ramps and on ramps and stuff on the interstate right there, and right where one of the on ramps is now would have been going right through the track. And I remember at the time everybody was pretty upset, but it worked out pretty well. The state, I believe, who built the interstate was able to buy that property, and then those funds were able to go and build a new track. So we weren't out a track for more than a year, I don't think, maybe
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 years. I was young at the time, but it all worked out in the end. And the Hub of the Valley was really cool. It was definitely old Western type track. It was a small quarter, real muddy, kind of flat. And it was, elbows up type old school racing. And then when we got over here to the new track, things changed a little bit. And I don't know, it's been good ever since. I think this track's been here since like 98, the one we have now.
Yeah, well, and it's just so picturesque and scenic. You've got the mountains, the Gallatin Mountains in the background, and just the whole area. I mean, it literally is big sky country when you're there. But you get a mix of the mountains too, and it's super cool.
Yeah, for sure. The backdrop of Gallatin Speedway is cool. Usually, for 3/4 of the year, you got snow-covered mountains behind it. Makes for some good pictures, and Electric City Speedway is cool here too. You sit up on that hill and you can see over the whole town. Yeah. Good scenery around racetracks here for sure.
Oh, for sure. And then the Missouri River, the Mighty Mo, you can see the lights glistening off of the top of the water surface. That's one of my favorite places is Great Falls. So
yeah, I agree.
Not to say that I don't like Belgrade. I like Belgrade too. So
yeah, they're both good.
Yes. Really, things got cooking for you IMCA wise, championship wise, that 2020 year. You won the title at Big Sky Speedway in Billings, and then since then you were the Montana State champion that year. You're 3-time defending Montana State champion and 2-time defending Gallatin Speedway champion. But a pretty good accolade that you collected in 2022, the Shaw Race Cars Western Region champion. That is pretty impressive, and no doubt that's something that you take a lot of pride in.
Oh, for sure. That was, an effort that we put in. We tried to run as many races as we could that year, with the effort of seeing what would happen championship wise. And then, you get about 3/4 of the way through the year and things are looking good points wise. So that inspires you more. And then you push it even harder. We did a lot of traveling. I think I put like almost 30,000 miles on my old pickup, running all over these states, trying to get points there. We were down in Winnemucca and Battle Mountain and all those places, trying to just get some wins there at the end of the year. And we were able to get that Western region deal, and that was cool. That's definitely a milestone for sure.
Yeah, and then you got to go to the Pacific Northwest at Skagit Speedway for the Survive the 55, a race that you've went to the last couple of years. Yeah.
Skagit's awesome. I really like that format. That's the same format we ran in Belgrade for the 55 lap race here with the 2 heat races, same group, flip starting order. I really like that because it takes your draw number. It's not nearly as important. The draw doesn't matter like it does at a lot of other shows. So I really like that format. And Skagit's a fun little track. Run a real deep gear there, but it's got a lot of banking. You go around there pretty fast, and those walls are kind of intimidating. And I don't know, it's just fun. It reminds me of more like we were talking, the Hub of the Valley, the kind of old school stuff. Mm-hmm. It's fun for sure.
Well, and then all of a sudden championships and wins start rolling in. Was there a turning point that you could pinpoint that happened, or it was just a matter of going to some different racetracks, seeing some new competition, or just getting more experience and just faster?
Yeah, I think it just comes from experience. There was not like a turning point where we started doing something different and all of a sudden started winning. My high school buddies, college buddies, and I are the only ones that really have ever been involved with my program, and we just work super hard to get faster all the time. Doing our homework and doing the best we can, is learning about chassis and that kind of thing. And then as the more you drive, you get more comfortable driving as well. So that helps. And then at some point, things started to align and we started to have more success. But I don't think there was a particular point that things changed. We just slowly started being more successful, and I'm really thankful for that.
Are you looking to find that adrenaline rush, but you can't because you're not at the racetrack? Well, check out the IMCA TV Replay subscription library to have access to thousands of hours of racing for just $24.99 a month. Relive all the moments of the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway, the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona, Florida's Clash on the Coast, and dozens of Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program racetracks from across the nation, as well as the IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast. Plus, 25% of that $24.99 monthly fee goes towards the Drivers Point Fund and is a great way to help out your local racers. In 2023, over $97,000 was paid out to IMCA drivers directly at over 50 racetracks across the country. Please note that live broadcasts are not part of the replay subscription. That's IMCA TV. IMCA TV, where America comes to watch racing. Well, and then the number 12, that's got a number that's significant to you, correct?
Kind of. It was just that neighbor I had that had the late model down there. He was number 12, and when you're a kid, you just pick your favorite number, and it's always been 12. I remember writing it all over my bicycle with Sharpie markers and that kind of thing. I've always wanted to be number 12 for whatever reason.
And he knows it, right? He knows that that's the reason you chose the number.
Oh, I imagine he does. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Belgrade, Montana. It's located, just outside of Bozeman, where Montana State University is. There's some pretty cool stuff to do around there. I mean, would you say that Belgrade's not really much of a college town? That'd be more like Bozeman, right?
Yeah, more and more as time goes on, Belgrade and Bozeman are kind of becoming the same thing. The farmland between them is certainly shrinking. But the college is in Bozeman. Bozeman's a college town, but there's a lot of college kids in Belgrade as well. It's a nice community. It's in a valley. There's mountains all the way around, and the things to do around here are mostly outdoor related type stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I'm sure fishing and hunting, I mean, that's a major business, I think, for like guides and stuff.
Oh, for sure. Like fly fishing all around is a huge component to the tourism industry around here.
Now in the wintertime, I mean, is there fun stuff to do in the wintertime, or you just kind of hunkered down for a while and just kind of keep close to home?
Well, skiing is very popular. The mountains provide a lot of ski areas. But yeah, when it gets winter and snow, we spend a lot of time working in the shop and staying indoors generally. But
sure.
It's kind of all the same.
Now, do you guys do the deal that they do in the Midwest for like the where you just pop open the garage door and watch a storm break out, like with a bunch of snow?
No, not too often. I think that'd make it cold inside.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be a factor there. Like, that's cool if it's like -10 or something and you got like 4 or 5 inches of snow like hitting every, couple hours. But like at some point, cold air travels, not as fast as heat, but
Oh, it travels pretty quick. You try to keep the shop door open as little as possible in the winter, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and then for you, outside of racing, outside of traveling and racing, I mean, you like to do some stuff with the family, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I like taking the fishing boat to the lake, and my kids, if they can practice enough patience, they enjoy fishing, and we like, whatever, swimming and doing that kind of thing with the boat. And outside of that, just spending time outdoors, riding bikes, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, 2024, it's crazy that we're almost in August, but for you guys, anything in the near or maybe not so distant future, like maybe making a trip down to IMCA TV Winter Nationals, Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals Fueled by Casey's in Boone, or, I mean, hey, it's right next door, the Dakota Classic Modified Tour.
Yeah, those are all things I'd like to do at some point for sure. That Dakota Tour especially, I think that's one of the toughest things to try to tackle in IMCA. Someday I'll make my way over there. As far as this year goes, we were fortunate enough to have enough races available at the tracks here in Montana to kind of stay busy locally. But then just recently, my chassis builder out of Arkansas invited me to go down to Oklahoma and run a B-Mod show down there. So we're going to do that. And that'll kind of take us out of the points racing up here, which is actually kind of a relief. It'll allow us to free up our schedule and maybe look at some other stuff. But I don't have any solid plans. I'm looking at Skagit again. That was fun. My buddy Sam Hoffman, who raced here for a long time, moved to Iowa. So, there's a ton of tracks over that way. I was thinking about maybe kind of going and doing a little Iowa tour with him, but I don't have any solid plans.
Okay. Well, I know it takes a lot of people, a lot of money, and a lot of effort to make things go around for you, whether you're racing, right in your backyard at Gallatin or traveling across the Shaw Race Cars Western region. Who are some people and who are some sponsors that you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I got a good group of sponsors that continue to return year after year. I know there's a lot of guys that, it's a hurdle they have to get over every year to go find sponsorship and knock on doors and stuff. And I've been extremely fortunate enough to have returning sponsors that I have good relationships. And I know all those guys personally, and it's been really helpful. But sponsors here locally, Northwest Concrete, Lee Concrete Pumping, Donnie Olson Realty, GDC Spooner, Custom 2 Manufacturing, Plumber Joe. Those are the main ones, and those guys really help out a bunch.
Awesome. Well, it's great to always get a chance to talk with you, Ty, and hopefully we'll be bumping into each other at some marquee events, as well as, who knows, maybe next year, hopefully they do the Montana Nationals, or Montana Madness, pardon me, and I'll get a trip to go there back to Belgrade for the first time since 2016.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I hope they do it again, and I hope you can make it. Are you going to Skagit?
As of right now, I believe so. So, yes.
Cool.
Cool. Pending a couple things, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we might see you there.
All right. Well, sounds good. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk to you later.
Well, race fans, that does it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you continue to enjoy these upcoming interviews. We appreciate it if you would like and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it's at. Give us a like and give us a subscription so that we can deliver more of these great interviews to you for your listening pleasure. In the meantime, wherever we're at, wherever you're listening, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a pleasant evening, and we will see you soon here at Highside Racing Promotions.